Are you looking for ways to simplify and grow your business? Do you struggle with knowing where to focus your energy for the best return? Or are you loving your business success and looking to stay ahead of the pack through innovation and inspiration? If you've answered yes to any of the following, keep listening because today's episode is sure to inspire you. But before we get started today, I wanted to share with you my free Marketing on a Page template. This easy-to-use template will have you understanding exactly where your business is headed and the exact tactics and steps that you need to take in order to achieve your goals and your vision. Download it today from holisticvision.com.au/strategy or head to the show notes for the link. Now for today's episode. Hello, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. It's really great to have you here to talk to us about collaborations and partnerships, and I'm sure that everybody's going to get so much value from it.
Hope so. That's my plan. Hopefully a few little tips on how to drive your own partnerships portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, with all your experience in the industry over the years, there definitely will be some great insights. Did you want to start with sharing a bit about who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you so much. So my background is media and charities. So I've had a beautiful career. So proud of that. And I guess partnerships is something I fell into from the arm of marketing. So working for various radio stations and media, and just found that bringing people together to do partnerships, to sponsor events, to really kind of drive, I guess, a different way for consumers to engage with a brand and also to deliver a message. So I left there about 3 or 4 years ago. And then started my own, hiked across Spain for a little while, and then came back and started my own consultancy of partnerships and brand partnerships called Collaboration Playground. And now what we do is we work with small to medium businesses to help them to grow their partnerships portfolios and just kind of, help them to find a way of how to work with like-minded people to do great things. And so I've been doing that for the last few years, and then sort of some contract work here and there with various brands and organisations, including Dr. Bronner's and Grant's toothpaste and Harry's ice cream. I'm sure they go together there somewhere. Yeah. So just, and local artists and stage shows. So, kind of the whole gamut of lots of different types of industries and areas for partnerships.
What would be your most memorable or favourite one that you've worked with recently?
I think probably there's an amazing artist here called Fleur Harris. She does beautiful. You might have seen her in Adair's. She does amazing whimsical children's, sort of bed linen and sheets.
Wow.
Just gorgeous. Think lots of unicorns and fairies and just beautiful, picturesque things, particularly for the little girls, but also little boys. She's done some great stuff with Under the Sea. And so we had talked about another brand called Tutu de Monde, which is a premium brand which has, children's wear, but it's lots of beautiful tutus, and there are diamantes, and everything is it's just magical. And so we had talked about this as a brand that she was aligned with and really wanted to work with. So we reached out to them, and then she put a collection together last year, and it's just magical. And it's everything from little romper suits for children to, as I said, beautiful dresses with fine applique and lots of children flowers and things. And it's actually now over in London in Harrods and other stores too. So just to see,
that's amazing,
to see an artist have that vision and say, how can we kind of make this happen? So I was really proud to work with her. And then earlier this year with Dr. Bronner's, there was a local Byron Bay artist, because the surfing culture is really big for Dr. Bronner's, which is an organic soap company all about, looking after Mother Earth and doing the right thing by the planet. So we curated with James McMillan, who, as I said, is a local artist, and Surfing World magazine, which has 800,000 followers and just really ingrained in surfing culture. And James painted a special surfboard with Dr. Bronner's principles about we are all one or none, and it was very bright and colourful. And then we gave it away through a cross promotion with Surfing Magazine. So just, things
That's
like that, of just
fantastic.
tapping into your
Yeah.
audience and finding unique experiences for them is really what a lot of the collaborations that I've done have worked really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic. I know that I've always loved Dr. Bronner's range, and have used it for nearly 20 years, I
Amazing.
think. It is
Yes.
such an amazing range, such high quality ingredients, and the range is, yeah, it's fantastic. Would have been great to be able to work with them. So,
Yes.
yeah, lucky you.
Yes. A dream brand. So lucky. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. It is one of those for sure. Talking about those types of collaborations that you've worked with, what would be some of the benefits for small to medium-sized businesses when you're looking at partnerships and collaborations?
Great. I think there are so many benefits of collaborating with other brands.
Mm,
I mean, the first one is obviously we all have limited budgets, particularly, small
yes.
to medium businesses if you're working by yourself. So to stretch through those marketing budgets, obviously, we're not all the Coca-Colas of the world with huge
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar budgets. So it's just a
For
really
sure.
good way because quite often a lot of partnerships are, pro bono. It's two people working together to
Mm,
say, well, I have these assets and you have these assets. So how can we cross promote and put them together? So that's obviously the first one. I
yeah.
think you can align yourself with other brands. So, if they're an aspirational brand that that you are keen to work with or your customers really love,
Yeah.
can really help you with your brand alignment. And even to, if you want to switch it out and do something totally different, it's another really good way to do that. And
Mm,
obviously increasing your awareness and reach. And the thing with
yeah.
partnerships is that sometimes you can tap into another brand's audience or customer database that you might
Mm,
not have had, access to before. And I think, there's that level of, I really want to attract these people. This brand
yeah.
over here has them. If we work together, then I can be exposed to them and to immerse myself in that space and engage with them, and also
Yeah.
vice versa. The other brand can do that too. So
Yeah.
it has so many marketing benefits, from branding to reach and also sometimes distribution. You might have a product, but you can only your distribution only goes so far, and if you collaborate with
Mm,
another brand or store, suddenly it
yeah.
might open you up to 200 new outlets that you
Yeah, that's
physically could
true.
not do yourself logistically. So,
Yeah,
so many benefits. And I think
they
what
are.
I've learned
Yeah.
over time, I've worked with small one-on-one brands, and I've also worked with
Uh-huh.
large groups, and
Hmm.
you can pretty much do it for anyone. So I think that's what's
Okay.
really exciting.
Yeah, and that is fantastic to hear because, with our audience, we've got people that are small business, single, solo entrepreneurs through to medium and large businesses. And it is great to hear that there's something that all of us could use and think about in terms of
Yes.
collaborations and finding that other brand to partner with, no matter what size you are. And I do love the idea of, being able to tap into each other's audiences because
Mm.
that's something that there's so much value in that to be able to share your message with a whole new audience,
Yes.
and get into their emails and yeah, find a new target audience for yourself through that as well.
Exactly. And also a lot of brands like to do that because sometimes it might provide a service for them. So, they're like, hey, our customers, we love
Yes, I'm
you.
looking for
So
this.
we've done
Yeah,
a deal with these people over here, and aren't we great because we're bringing you this new benefit? So it's
yeah,
really weird. It's, a great
yeah,
partnership is a win-win for everybody.
yeah, absolutely. And when you're talking about great partnerships and winning on both sides,
Yes.
what are some of the things that we should be concerned about in terms of red flags? Because, well, yes, it's great, but
Yes.
are there things that we need to be aware of when we're jumping into these things?
Yes, definitely. I think the first one for me is always aligned brand values.
Hmm.
There are some fantastic, companies out there that that have huge databases and huge customer bases, but if it doesn't align with your brand values, and I think we see that a lot in the environmental space, in the sort of eco space, perhaps even if you're very much a female brand, but the people you're thinking about working with perhaps aren't, very inclusive or aren't very diverse, that you might kind of say, well, I don't really want to be associated with them. That doesn't necessarily work for me. So I think to make sure that your brand values, what your customers expect from you, very much align with the other organisation. I think that's the first. It's not just about, tapping into a large database, because sometimes, again, brand management is so important. You can't, sometimes it's very, very, very difficult to come away from that. I think the second one for me would be make sure it is an equal partnership of win-win, so that you do have equal share of voice. It should be two brands, or even more than that, coming together and saying, well, we will promote you to our audience if you promote us to yours, and we'll share the profits, or the even packaging. I really love, I'm obsessed with food collaborations. It's just something about them. There are always some weird ones out there, just to make sure that if you're doing something like that, that your logo and their logo and all of those touch points of colours and fonts and everything, that's equal. It doesn't look like the brand you're working with has just slapped your logo on it, and they call that a partnership. It's really got to be equal share of voice. And then I think the third one for me is, once you do your deal and everyone's happy, put it in writing. Have an agreement drawn up. Just make sure everybody does what they have said that they will do. I hear a lot about, one of the easiest collaborations is to find a brand on social media perhaps, and just to say, hey, let's do a cross promotion. Let's do giveaways together. Let's, tag me, tag you. It's so simple. It's, we've been doing it for years. Bless the whole DM me. I love it. But some people, unfortunately, don't deliver what they've promised. So just make sure that you have it in writing that you will deliver the following, they will deliver what they have promised, and just make sure that people do it, so you can go back and say, hey, you know what, I did this for you. You need to make sure you've done the same for me. But, apart from that, it's just, find the brands that you love, that your customers and your clients love, and go and talk to them.
And talking to them. So how do you go about actually finding those suitable partners? What would your advice be?
Yes, I love a good brain dump. I think that's always great. I think the first thing I would do is think about your ideal client and customer. Who are they? What do they do? Where do they go? So where do they shop? What else do they do? So, if we're talking about the health and wellness space, do they go to gym? Do they shop at a specific chemist? Do they shop online? What sort of events do they go to? What social media are they on? Which, do they read Mamma Mia, or are they more of a kind of, spiritual newsletter? Just think about that client and that customer, and just do a bit of a brain dump. Here are all the things I know about them. And then from there, you can research some of the brands. So, for example, one of the things that you could do for a partnership or a collaboration is you could offer to write an article about something you're a specialist in for a website. So a very different proposition would be women's health versus Mamma Mia versus the good trade, which is a beautiful, very lovely happiness kind of beautiful Zen vibe. Where would your customer be? Make sure that you kind of tap into that. So then, I would brainstorm. Do they have aligned brand values with you? Set your, hit list. There are the people I want to work with. And then from there, work out what it is that you have to offer. And this is one of the things I find working with smaller businesses or, solo operators are like, oh, I just have nothing to give. And I was like, I just you have a database, you might have a website, you have your social media, you have your skills and experience. Again, you can write blogs, you can do Instagram Live, you could speak to their staff, you could, do free consultancy. Like, there are so many things that you could do. So sit down and say, what do I, as a business owner, have to offer? And then once you work through that offering, have a bit of a think about what you would like from them. And then reach out and just say, hello, this is who I am. and I love your brand and I would love to work with you. And here are some things that I can offer you and your customers. And let's chat. And probably the final point would be give them, if you can, give them a little bit of time, but maybe a bit of a deadline, because obviously lots of marketing brands are busy. But also don't feel bad following them up. In previous roles of being in partnerships and media, it's you sort of get, that person, I need to get back to them. I need to get back to them. And then at some point you'll be like, after the third time, you feel bad. Sorry, I've been busy, but let's chat. Don't become despondent if people don't get back to you straight away. Everyone's busy, as we talked about before. But just align yourself with these brands and just pitch and put yourself out there and speak with passion about you and what you do and what you bring to the table. And I think you'll be surprised at how you can do some really amazing collaborations and partnerships.
And I think that's really valuable information. To just go out there and be clear with what you can bring to the table for them, and reaching out. So obviously there's going to be fear when you're doing it the first time.
Of course, yes. And the good things come on the other side of fear. Yes. And that's yes, and you will get some of those. So then you can just go to the second person on your list.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not it's definitely remembering that don't give up, but keep going, because you will find that perfect brand that really does align with your values. And that's going to work really well for both of you when the time is right.
Yes, it's so true. I've had an example is I've had to 6 months for this partnership I really wanted to do. I just had to keep. And the person I was dealing, he was very busy. He did 3 different things. And then we finally made it happen sort of 6 months down the track. And great. And everyone loved it. It was fantastic. But I just knew that this was really important to our brand and business. And then afterwards he said the same thing. So I was like, you just have to stick, like everything in business. You just have to just keep going, back yourself, believe in yourself, just put yourself out there. That's all you can do.
Yeah, no. One step forward at a day.
Exactly.
In the right direction. And that's going to get us there for sure. And Tanya, when we're talking about brands, and if we could maybe do a bit of a brainstorm of some ideas specific to, let's go with coaches.
Okay.
Any ideas that we could come up with that are creative for getting them thinking along those collaboration lines?
Yes. I think the thing I love about, coaches and consultants is you can be so flexible and dynamic. Someone could call you and say, I have an opportunity tomorrow, and you could just make it happen. And I think that's really powerful. As I said earlier, for me, a really simple thing is to offer to write a blog piece or an article. You might have, so say you have a health insurance company and you say, I know that Christmas is a really stressful time of the year. I'm going to write you a blog piece about 10 ways that you can get through the Christmas rut. I just put a logo on there and a link to my website and put it onto perhaps you can put it into an EDM. I can write some content for you. That's such an easy way. And I think, companies today and websites and everyone is just looking for new content. What can I do? What can I put into our EDM? What can I put into my website? What can I put into social media? So if you're an expert in your field and what you do, you can write a piece. It could be short form, could be long form. Really simple way to get your name out there. And again, it's about you being seen as an expert in that field. So writing those pieces is fantastic, and again, really easy. Doesn't take up a lot of time. There's no real cost. It's your time, but it could open up some doors for you. The other thing, obviously similar to this, volunteer to be on a podcast. You can talk to someone, have a bit of a chat, topics, themes, put in a nice little plug at the end, collaborationplayground.com.au, like that. See how easy that was.
Exactly. I love it.
Podcasting is great. And then the other one is obviously Instagram Live. So people are always looking for guests or and again, we did a lot of this with Dr. Bronner to promote various partners that we had. Log on, 7 o'clock, pre-promote. We're talking to this person about this. Here are some tips. And again, you get to be exposed to a new audience.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there and be a part of their fabric and engage with their customers. So
Okay.
that's
I like that.
that's an easy
Those are
one. It's just
easy. Yeah.
yeah, and more about your time and just getting your messages right so you can do them.
Yeah.
As I said, cross promotions. So find the places that your customers and clients are. Look at some of those brands. Have a look at what they're doing on Instagram, on their websites, in their EDMs. That might be offering a free training session or a free consultancy, or whatever that looks like. So look at database acquisition. So if you don't have your own database or you're growing it, that could be a really good way to do that. Again, to sort of put yourself out there and to help grow your business. Another one that sounds quite like almost a bit old school boring, but there's referrals. You could talk to someone that that does perhaps something similar. We've talked previously about accountants and business coaches or marketing people. So if you refer a customer to me, then this is what I will do. I can set up a special deal. So into my database, I might say, hey, you know what? We're working with this amazing coach. Here are some details. If you book with her, this is a gift you get. And then vice versa. So you kind of it's almost like free advertising, referrals, because you've built trust with your database and customers. So you can then obviously push that forward to the other ones. And then I guess
a great one.
Another one, and it seems so old school, doesn't it? Referral, but it works.
I used to do that for years and years. When I was a naturopath and had my businesses.
Yes.
I worked with many local businesses because business was local back then.
Yes,
bricks and mortar.
Yes.
And so it was a great opportunity to build those referrals and offer specials and discounts, etc.
Yes,
to
and
our
you've got the
clients that
trust
way.
there too. I recommend this person because and really it's word of mouth marketing and advertising. So
exactly.
Really, really basic. And I guess the only other one would be look for events maybe that I think the local thing is makes a lot of sense. So are there people that that are putting events together? What sort of things are they doing? It might be say there's a local gym that has an open day. Hey, can I come and do a talk? Can I have an activation? Can I run some sessions? What does that look like? So again, have a look at what's happening around you, the places your clients are going, and say, I could be on site. But also you could also go crazy. You could do something really fun that might be like a, free ice cream, and we'll do a coaching session. What ice cream are you? You can go a bit crazy and mad depending on who the market is and what that looks like. But it's really looking around you at what the resources are. And again, you don't need to necessarily spend a lot of money. You don't need to buy big advertising billboards or book out huge advertising campaigns. You can just get really clever and specific with your message. And then talk to like-minded people to say, this is what I offer. This is what I have to give to your customers and clients. Let's have a bit of a chat and see how we can work together.
And do you think that there's any concern when you're approaching these businesses that they would need to be of a similar size, or do you think it's okay to reach out to bigger businesses that have bigger databases to provide a service and collaborate with them?
Yes, it's a good question. My experience is that if you have the right offer, if you have, I guess, some social proof, so if you can not just someone just turns up and says, who are you? Never heard of you before. If you have some social proof to say, well, here is some of my experience, this is who I've worked with, this is what I offer. Most companies are pretty good. They'll give you some time to sort of have a bit of a chat, but you really do need to drill down on what it is that you have to offer. And if it's not, we have a huge database, it might be I have worked with these people, I have had this success, I have these ideas, you know, whatever your sort of space is. I think it's really about putting your offering and your collateral together, and then going to have, and also to find the right person to talk to too. I think, you know, that's always really important to tap into that and say, oh, I know that. So for an example of one of the things I've found over time, whenever I'm putting a partnerships or a sponsorship deal together, staff engagement is really, really important for companies these days more than ever. So if you can find a way to speak to the HR team, to the people and culture groups, to say, hey, I have an offering as well as doing these things over here, I can run a workshop with your staff. I can, you know, do some coaching. I can write you an article for your internal newsletter. Things that tick boxes for them means that you make their life a little bit easier. And if you make their life a little bit easier, there's more chance that they will say to you, that's great. I don't have time to write a newsletter article, but if you can do it for me, let's make that happen. So and again, aligned brands, that's what they would be looking for.
Absolutely. That is definitely, I think, the key thing is that alignment of values. Because like you said, if there isn't that alignment there, then your clients and your audience are not going to benefit from it, and neither would theirs. So there's no real point then in doing that collaboration or partnership, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. I think that's been so valuable. I know that I've gotten value, and I've got all these ideas taken in my head right now that I'm
great. That's what I like to hear. Now you need to write them all down before you forget. Set your action plan. Yes.
My notebook here, and I will be writing them down this evening. But no, that's brilliant. But before we go, is there anything else that you feel that we haven't mentioned that would be of value to everybody or the listeners to hear?
For me, it's really about meeting different people that you want to work with. And I think you will meet, you might be at a networking group, you might be, in a business meeting out with some friends. Talk about what you do, talk about what your passions are, and put it out there, you know, almost to the universe, to say, oh, my dream is to do this. And you'll be surprised at people that will connect you to others. I'm constantly surprised by the people that reach out or ring and say, oh, remember you said you wanted to do blah, blah, blah. I met this person. And it's really about, connections and people and bringing everybody together. So think about what you would like to do, think about who you would like to collaborate with, and then just put it out there, research them. And I think build relationships. I would say LinkedIn is really, really fantastic tool and asset for this. Set yourself up there. It's free advertising. Look at some of the brands and companies you might want to work for. Connect with those people, follow their brands, and then even sometimes, get onto their posts and say, I saw this, it's fantastic. Start to build a relationship so that when you do approach them, you're familiar with their brand, they might have heard of you before, and so it's not as much of cold calling, and then before you know it, hopefully you've built a really nice strong relationship and you can work together. So just connect with all the people that you want to work with, because you just never know where it's going to end up.
That's really inspirational, and so much value, and it's just it's super exciting actually to think about that as another option that just gives you new ideas and new ways of doing things that we don't think about when we're, especially as a solo business owner. You tend to just keep doing that one thing and not looking at any other options out there. So this is a great way, to think about a collaboration, and it's a fun way as well. Quite exciting, and definitely worth giving a go. So I love it. Thank you.
I look forward to seeing what everyone has out there. So
we'll be sharing.
love to see, exactly. And then also on my Instagram on Collab Playground, if you want to see some really interesting food collaborations, please follow me, because some of them are quite disgusting. Mac and cheese ice cream. I don't know if that's a good
God.
idea, but I love it. And so again, anything is possible when like-minded people get together. And so that's what I would inspire all of you to do.
Absolutely. What was that? It's your Instagram handle?
So it's
again?
Collab Playground. So part of my
Collab
collaboration
Playground. Okay.
Yes.
I'll pop that in the show notes for everybody so that
Excellent.
they can look at that.
So that they can
I'll
look at
your
some
website
very
too.
weird ice cream collaborations. Not suggesting you should do them, but they do get the creative juices flowing and nothing else. So that's all good.
Good inspiration. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tanya, again. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. And thank you for sharing your valuable time and insights and knowledge and expertise. It's been fantastic. Thank you.
My pleasure, Anita. Go out and collaborate. Go and have some fun.
Absolutely.
It's all good. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening today. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I hope you find value from today's episode. And remember, if you've got friends and colleagues looking for inspiration as they grow their business, share this podcast with them. Follow me on Instagram at Holistic Vision Consultancy or check out my website holisticvision.com.au. Until next week, to your success, my friend.